Hi and welcome back for day 5 of 365 days of art. I have day 4 behind me where I tried to do Bob Ross in acrylics. It went all right, but I'm sure we'll revisit that again in the future. There's going to be like a whole victory dance when I finally nail one of Bob Ross's paintings. It's going to be wonderful. Today's project, you can see that I have 2 different sides set up. We're going to be doing a comparison. I'm going to be painting the same picture on both sides, but I want to try to add a little more depth using the Liquitex matte gel on one side. So I'm going to paint the background first, and then after they dry on just one side, I'm very thickly going to apply this to kind of mute it and send it more to the background. And then we'll come back in when both are dry and I'll paint in just some very simple, I think, lavender flowers on either side. And then a step further, I think, if I don't feel like the contrast is enough, is that I might even take the gloss gel and paint that over top of my flowers just so we can see the full effect of hopefully really getting some difference in depth on the 2 paintings. That being said, let's start on the backgrounds. Getting started, I'm still using my Arteza paints because I still do like them. They're really beautiful colors and they're decently pigmented. I'm adding the glazing medium to them today though, just to hopefully get some fun effects. Welcome back. As you can see, we left forward a little bit. My camera battery died. So hopefully in a future video I'll get to show you how I did the background. But it ended up, I wasn't caring for what the glazing liquid did. I mean, I laid down a decent background and then over top of it, I just went straight with the acrylic. And at the very edges of where I had the color, I put just the straight acrylic with both of them, then with a really clean brush, just kind of spread it out towards the edges. On one side, you can see I went ahead and while I was waiting for my battery to charge, did one side, but of course I waited for you guys to do the other side. I am doing a mixture of light sap green and Prussian green for these wonderful flower stems that we have. I'm going to do it just with a flat brush. And all I'm going to do is I just press them on. Now we're just going to copy the other side. Like I said, I want to have some comparison pictures. So it's really all I'm doing is I'm tapping my brush into the green and then putting it here on the canvas. We're staying very loose with this. I'm not going for hyper realism. I want to do this right. And I just got started a little bit later today. It happens, right? Life gets in the way and I had some stuff I had to go ahead and take care of, which is just what we do. And it required some patience today, that you need to have patience with yourself, but also just as much the people around you are looking to you to have understanding and patience with them. Especially if they work in customer service. I'm sure some of you have been there. If you have not, then I am sure that you have heard stories. Don't get me wrong, I've dealt with people that I'm pretty sure just wanted to play the system. And that stinks. Because really, what we want to do is we want to reward people for being kind to each other and for being good. So we understand that that customer service person doesn't necessarily, they don't make any rules. They're just trying to uphold the rules. I was in a situation today where I didn't understand what I had purchased. And they had followed up and asked me about it and were like wondering if I was happy with it, and I wasn't. But I also told them, I was like, hey, return window totally closed. And I understand that I maybe can't do it, but it's not exactly what I was looking for. and that is totally fine. And I accepted the part that I played in not really reading exactly what it was. But I was calm and polite about it, and they actually offered to give me a refund, which was very nice and not at all necessary. I actually offered, I was like, no, how about half a refund, because I do understand that I played some part, and they're like, no, we just actually would feel more comfortable giving you a full refund. And I was like, okay, well, far be it from me to argue with you much further on that. And there was another misunderstanding today. Today was just a day of misunderstandings and not quite getting things done on the timeline I wanted to get them done. But I tried to have extra patience today, and maybe that's just what the universe was asking of me, was just for me to remember that people needed patience. So I'm having patience with this painting, and that's why we're gonna probably finish it up and do part 2 tomorrow. Hopefully just at the beginning, and then I'll make another one, because I do want to have separate paintings for each. For the flowers, I'm just taking this really tiny little flat brush that I quite like, and the first color that we are putting on here is the Arteza Violet. And again, this is I'm just using straight acrylic right now, and I always like to dampen my brush but then squeeze the excess water out of it. If you keep too much water in your brush, it's not going to want to stick to the paint. So I'm just using the edge, and we're just tapping. I'm trying to keep my fingers out of the way, but I'm a little shaky because we're near the end of the day. And that's when my hands like to tell me that they're tired. That's okay, which, hey, just a little reminder, because you are using just straight acrylic that we're pressing into the canvas. Every once in a while, even if you're still using the same color, go ahead and wash out your brush and get some of that paint out of the bristles. Alright, next color that we're using is the Magenta Light. It is an opaque, so you see I've got the basic shapes in, but acrylics are all about layers. Ogres have layers, onions have layers, acrylic paintings have layers. So just little highlights, you don't have to put them all over. We're just going to put them in a couple spots, and that's definitely the way to do lavender stalks. Is all those little colors as soon as it dries. And the nice thing is, by the time I work my way over here, acrylic dries so quickly, you should be ready to come right back to the other side without any delay. Okay, and the last color we're going to add to them is a Mauve Pale. And same thing, just like with the magenta, you're just going to kind of add it in there, and I really like it because it has the kind of that blue undertone in it. It's still purple, but it's a cool purple. And I think it's kind of the perfect lavender color. Highlighted, of course, by the others. If you ever have a moment, just definitely go really take a long, hard look at nature, especially flowers and trees. So many times when you're not getting quite the look that you want, it's because you're not quite paying attention to the color. We see grass and we think, oh, grass is just green, but it's not. Different grasses are green with yellows and oranges. Sometimes they have blues in them. I've even seen some grasses that if you were going to paint them, I think I'd add in a little bit of a red. And that gives you that depth and that really pretty color. So if it's looking flat, go ahead and give layers a try and just totally mess with the colors. The very last thing that I'm gonna do, and then I'm gonna give it all of tonight to dry, is I'm using the Liquitex Matte Gel. So I'm actually just very generously, now that this side is completely dry, going to apply this to my painting. I'm gonna let this completely dry. And then once it's completely dry, I'm gonna go over just a couple of these lavender stalks, repaint them with just the acrylic, and then I'm gonna throw a gloss over just a few of them so you can see the difference in how the matte pushes them back, and then the gloss is gonna bring some of them forward again. And I'll show you that at the beginning of tomorrow's video. I'll get it done beforehand before we do that project, which I don't know what it's going to be yet, but I will think of something. Just got a late start today. So that's really thick. As soon as that dries even just a little bit more, I'm probably going to go ahead and add a second layer to that. And that's just because I really want to see the effect as full as I possibly can. And what I've noticed with the different mediums is when you put them on here, they dry and shrink actually quite a bit. So I'm thinking with the matte, what I need is I just really need that to have a couple different layers on there to get the effect that I'm looking for. This was fun. Can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. Again, if you're doing something artistic, take a picture, show me in the comments, let's chat about it.